All right, welcome. We're diving into a practical guide to Germany. Our goal here is to help you bridge that gap between the fairy tale postcard you have in your mind and the actual reality on the ground, turning you into a truly savvy traveler.
Okay, so let's get right into it. You think of Germany and you picture these incredible scenes, perfect castles, flawless engineering. But to really, truly enjoy it, you've got to know what's just beyond that picture-perfect image.
So, you've got this dream in your head, right? Fairy tale castles, trains that run like clockwork, and the legendary Autobahn with no speed limits. But here's the reality check. That whole stereotype about perfect German trains, yeah, not always true. In fact, they can be really unreliable. And the Autobahn, a lot of it has speed limits. Knowing this stuff up front is the secret to an awesome, stress-free trip. So here's your first big decision, and it's a crucial one. You have to choose which Germany you actually want to see, because there are really two very different paths you can go down, and each one is a completely different kind of adventure. So, which adventure are you going to choose? Are you drawn to the south? That's your classic Bavaria. All about fairy tales, incredible nature, Neuschwanstein Castle. It's perfect for a scenic road trip. Or are you pulled toward the north? That's where you dive deep into modern history, art, and culture with the incredible city of Berlin right at the center of it all. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. We're going to tackle the two things that can make or break any trip: getting around and handling your money. This is where just a little bit of insider knowledge, well, it goes a very long way. First up, the trains. And listen, this is a huge one. Do not, and I repeat, do not assume German trains are always on time. That quote on the screen says it all. You have to build extra time into your schedule, especially if you're there in the busy season, because an hour-long delay, that's considered pretty normal. So when you're looking at the train schedule, you'll see a few different types. The ICE is the fancy high-speed one. IC and EC are your standard long-distance trains, and all the others are for shorter regional trips. But here's the real pro tip. Don't just book on the main site. Always, always check a comparison site first. It can literally save you a ton of cash. Now, speaking of those regional trains, if you're traveling in a group, anywhere from 2 to 5 people, listen up. There is an incredible money-saving hack called Estate Ticket, and believe me, it is a total game changer. Check this out. For a super small fee, often just 3 extra euros on top of what one person would pay, you can add up to 4 more people to that same ticket for the entire day. It's not per person, it's for the whole group. The savings are just massive. It's almost unbelievable. Thinking about driving? It gives you amazing freedom, especially for exploring the South. But you gotta know the deal. Watch for speed limits on the Autobahn, get familiar with the local parking rules, like this little blue parking disc thing, and if you're even thinking of popping over to Austria or Switzerland, you have to buy a special sticker for your windshield before you cross the border. Okay, let's talk about shopping. Remember this number, 25 euros. If you spend that much or more in a single store, you, as a tourist, can get a tax refund. That's a really low bar, so make sure you're always asking for the forms and saving those receipts. Now, this is a super important little detail when you're filling out those refund forms. You've got to make sure the country code is correct. For travelers from Taiwan, that code is 158. Sometimes it gets filled in wrong automatically, so it is absolutely essential that you double-check it. Okay, the airport tax refund. This is where things can get complicated. Seriously, a lot of people mess this part up. The key thing to remember is that there are 2 separate processes. Anything you bought that's in your checked bag has to get stamped by customs before you go through security. But anything in your carry-on gets stamped after security. If you get that order wrong, you're not getting your money. All right, let's put all this savvy travel knowledge to the test with the ultimate German challenge, Oktoberfest. This is where being prepared really, really pays off. If you want to do Oktoberfest right, you've got to plan way, way ahead. We're talking at least 6 months in advance to reserve a table in the popular tents. But honestly, here's the biggest money-saving tip of all. Don't stay in Munich. The hotel prices are insane. Stay in a city nearby, like Augsburg. It's just a 30-minute train ride away, and you will save an absolute fortune. But hey, the good news? It's totally free to just walk around the festival grounds. And if you don't have a reservation, no big deal. Your best shot is to show up on a weekday right around noon, and you can usually find a spot. And dressing the part in the traditional clothes, it's half the fun. You really feel like you're part of it. So when you finally get a seat and order a beer,
just be ready, because this is the only size they serve in the main tents. 1 liter. It comes in this giant glass mug called a Moss. And don't worry, they have non-alcoholic versions too.
And when that giant beer lands on your table, it's time to toast. You're going to say Prost. But here's the key cultural tip you have to remember. You make eye contact with every single person you clink glasses with. It's a really important sign of respect and friendship.
Okay, here is a really cool and kind of useful cultural detail. It's all about the bow on a woman's dirndl apron. Where she ties it sends a message. If the bow is on her left side, that means she's single. If it's on the right side, she's taken. Pretty clever, right?
All right, after all that planning and all that partying, let's talk about the ultimate reward, the food. But even here, there are some crucial tips that can take your experience from good to absolutely amazing.
Think you know German pork knuckle? Think again. Those 2 regions we talked about, they have completely different styles. Down south in Bavaria, you get Schweinshaxe. It's roasted and the skin is out of this world crispy. But up north in Berlin, they make Eisbein. It's boiled and the meat is so soft and tender it just falls apart. You have to try both.
And you cannot leave Berlin without hitting the streets for some food. Currywurst isn't just a snack, it's a full-blown local obsession. And the doner kebab, it's a Turkish-German masterpiece that many people say is the best fast food on the planet. You just have to try it. And finally, for dessert, a very, and I mean very, serious warning. This is not the Black Forest cake you might be used to. The real deal, by German law, has to have a lot of a strong cherry schnapps called Kirsch. I'm not kidding, it's not just a hint of flavor. It's intensely alcoholic. So you've been warned. So look, knowing the difference between the postcard and the reality isn't meant to spoil the magic. It's what gives you the power to have a truly incredible, hassle-free trip. It lets you build your own perfect dream. So the only real question left is, which German adventure are you going to choose?